WNBA, and I'm gonna leave the spotlight on you, Carl Conyers. Let me know your thoughts and let me hear your rant.
So let me just start off by reading some tweets. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna read some tweets. That's how we're gonna start
Okay.
off, right? So I'll this is from Jamel Hill, who a lot of people on a certain side of the field or politically don't really like, but a lot of times she just spits facts. So she said that another thing that I noticed is that all the people saying that these women don't deserve keep citing the financials from this year, conveniently leaving out that their new media rights deal kicks in next season and is over $200 million a year. The WNBA is adding multiple franchises because there are a line of investors wanting in. The financial trajectory is high. You think billionaires want to be in on bad products? The NBA lost money for over 40 years. Do you think that player salaries stayed the same in that 40-year span? Hint, they did not. So uh, the reason I felt I needed to rant was because one, the whole rhetoric with Caitlin Clark and the WNBA has been infuriating for me from the beginning, to be honest with you. And I want to start this by saying Caitlin Clark has done all the right things. I don't blame her at all for any of this. It's really crazy. It's one of those situations where no matter what she says, people kind of just like talk for her and they put her in this place and they just attribute little things to her because it helps them push their narratives. So it's really unfortunate, and I do feel bad for her in that regard. But a lot of things started this weekend because it was the WNBA All-Star Game, and the women had on shirts that said, "Pay us what you owe." And again, for some reason, when these women, especially in the WNBA, try and, advocate for themselves, that makes people upset. That specifically makes a certain subset of people who I will not name upset. And I just think it's interesting so I'll say that, and then I'll get to this other tweet.
Take your time.
So WNBA players currently receive just 9.3% of the league's revenue. That includes ticket sales, merch, and TV deals.
That's
For
nasty.
reference, their male counterparts in the NBA, it's 50%.
Yep.
So let's start this again. Nobody's saying that the women need to make 50%. Nobody's saying they even need to make 40%. But currently, they make 9% of the revenue that they generate.
That's
This
nasty.
revenue all comes from them. So now going back to the tweet, this results in their salary cap being set at just 1.5 million for this year, less than half of Joe Ingles' $3.6 million. If
Wait,
anybody knows who Joe Ingles is,
1.5 million per team?
yes, that is the salary cap. 1.5 million. Half of Joe Ingles' salary. If you know who Joe Ingles is, that's crazy. So, in theory, if they received even 40% of the league's revenue, that salary cap would be at 6.4 million. That increase would mean that you could have roster expansion. Players could theoretically still make three times their current salary, and owners would still bring in 60% of the revenue. Now, to put that in perspective, that still means an entire WNBA roster would be paid less than Rob Dillingham will make in this next year, which is $6.5 million. So again, people are mad that they're asking for the salary of, well, they're not even at, people are mad that a team is asking for the salary of a rookie, on a later round rookie on his rookie deal. Okay, now the WNBA did lose $40 million last year. That is in large part due to the TV deal, which they are currently signed to, which next year goes from roughly 45 million annually to 200 million annually, going
Damn.
to Jamel's point. That will, this will result in essence in the league making money overnight from losing 40 million to a net gain of 115 million just off the TV deal alone. So that's not including anything else that's probably going to go up as the game's popularity grows. Even if the game and ticket sales were to stop growing and merch stop selling, it would still be in the green with this new TV deal. The current CBA would amount to players going from 1.5 million in salary cap to just 4, a substantial raise. However, it would cost the league just 2.5 million out of the 115 TV profits. So if the players got 40% of this new TV deal money, that's still just 17 million per team. It's an
Mm,
11%, it's an 11 times raise over their current salaries. And in the grand scheme of things, it is still less than 1 year of Jaden McDaniel's salary.
mm,
So the league is built on players, whether you're Caitlin Clark, Asia Wilson, Nafisa Collier, they deserve to get a bigger slice of the pie because as the revenue grows, their pay should grow as well. They're not asking to be paid dollar for dollar what the males make. They are asking to be paid a respectful share of the money that they generate.
mm,
So that's really where my whole issue comes in is people are mad that they're trying to get more money when most of these people don't know anything about the financials, don't know any. I got into a discussion with one of my friends earlier today, and in it, he said, someone asked him, like, do you actually watch the games? And he said, like, yeah, no, I don't. And that to me kind of encapsulates the entire issue of this problem of it's so many people who are just mad to be mad, mad that these women want more, mad that they don't treat Caitlin Clark like a god, upset because they think that these girls are trying to make NBA money. Like, no, our league now is all you guys keep talking about is it doesn't make money, it doesn't make money. The NBA didn't make money for over 40 years. The WNBA is barely even 30 years old, and they're already about to be turning a consistent profit, probably for the rest of the time that the league is around. So it would stand to make sense that all of these players should also deserve more money. So that's kind of just like my main point of it is really just I think it's so interesting how people who really don't know anything about the sport, who don't know anything about how it's played, who don't know anything about how it's officiated, judged, anything about the stratosphere around the sport or the players or anything about competition, decide all of a sudden they have all these opinions on what's right for the sport and what's wrong for the sport when clearly they're actually doing the right thing. And also at the end of the day, I do agree that Caitlin Clark has been the main driving force behind the increase in eyes and increase in revenue, but she's not the only one. And also at the same time, the same way that when Jordan came into the league and he was the main one to make the league more, of course, like Magic and Bird helped a lot, but Jordan was really one of the big ones to come in and make the league very popular and help it grow. There is no Jordan if there is no Magic and Bird. There is no Jordan if there is no Wilt, Hakeem, all these other players that came before them. So for you guys to sit here and disrespect all the players that are in the league like they did nothing for Caitlin Clark to exist is crazy. Like they all deserve respect as well. They're all people who have helped grow the game and help get the game to the point where somebody now can come in and make it even bigger. Um, so I just think that it's really interesting, people this rhetoric of they're trying to injure Caitlin Clark, they're trying to do this, they're trying to do that. No, they're playing basketball. There might be hard fouls. That happens all the time in the NBA. And you know what doesn't happen when a hard foul happens in the NBA? People don't go on Twitter and be like, "Oh, they're trying to kill this guy." Like, no, it's just a foul. And actually, most of the time, people like it. People are like, "This is what it used to be like in the '90s. We love when they play aggressive and all that other stuff." But now, when it comes to the women being competitors and being aggressive, it's a problem. Like, wouldn't it stand to make sense? Like, yeah, not everyone is gonna like Caitlin Clark because she came in and she took all the attention and all these other things, and now they're putting her on this pedestal. Where to be fair, if you look at her numbers from this year, she doesn't really belong. But all that goes into being in a competitive sport. By nature, you are not going to just like everyone, especially people who aren't on your team. Like, I'm competing on you. I want to kill you every night. I'm trying to go at you. Like, that's what this is. So to act like it's something else, to try and coddle these women like they're not athletes is just so insane to me. Um, yeah, I'm gonna stop there. But I just think that it's really interesting the way that people talk about this rhetoric with Caitlin Clark. I think it really does the entire league a disservice. Going even to like she should have been on the Olympic team. It's like, no, she shouldn't have. She was not at the time one of the best 12 players in the sport. And they definitely shouldn't have had her on the Olympic team if they knew she was just going to sit on the sidelines the entire time. Because to be real, Jason Tatum sat on the sidelines the entire year and people were mad about it. And that's just honestly, to be fair, a smaller fan base. Jason Tatum is not a divisive person. And that's how they acted about him being on the bench. If she had been on the roster and just been on bench the entire time, these people would have been trying to come for their heads. So again, it's like, how about you just let this league, who clearly they're doing the right things because they just signed this new $200 million deal. They are putting Caitlin Clark in all the positions to be an ambassador, to be in all the marketing, to be in all the ads, but they can't elevate her to where she doesn't yet belong, the spots that she has to earn by continue. Like, it's a lot of people have one good year. You're a great player when you have multiple good years over and over and you start to stack those up. That's when you start to get the real respect that comes with those accolades. When I can verify like, oh no, you're this. You didn't just have a flash in the pan good season. And to be fair, I think she is going to be a great player. I think that it's not just a flash in the pan, but she still has to prove that. She still has to show that. Um, so, and again, I like her a lot. I think that not I think, I know she is great for the league. She's bringing a lot more eyes. But I just think we need to stop with the way that we're treating her like she's not a basketball player. Like she can protect herself. She's not some little white girl who's waiting on a bunch of these guys on their computers to save her. Like, oh, get off of her. They hate her, whatever. Stop. Let her play basketball. Either watch the sport or don't. But y'all aren't paying into this revenue because you're not watching it. All you're doing is just criticizing and bringing negativity and trying to find and putting it in a way of like, oh, well, I care about them making more money. I'm trying to help them. When in reality, you're just trying to divide people and you're trying to be divisive.
Mm.
So I just really hate that. I hate the whole rhetoric around it, and I just wish people would take the time to educate themselves instead of spouting nonsense.
Masterclass. Fucking masterclass. First video I'm gonna upload. I have a question for you before we branch off. Like, so you said the new CBA deal kicks in with like the TV, right? With the TV money, right? So even though they already signed off on the new CBA, are they still only gonna get 11%, or will they have to like go through like a lockout to get even more money? Like, how does that work?
So that's the thing is that, and if I said CBA, then I misspoke and I apologize. It's the TV deal is what's going into
TV deal.
effect next
Okay.
year. The CBA is the reason that they had those shirts on because they are currently in negotiations for the new CBA, which they're like, hey,
When?
we know all this money is coming in, so we
Mhm.
know we deserve to be making more money. And the league is really pushing back on that.
Damn. So even though they're in talks right now, when does the current? Do you know when the current CBA ends?
I think the current CBA ends either after this year or after next season.
Yeah, they might have to have a lockout, dog.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like they know, like, we're not making, y'all are about to make all this extra money, and y'all are trying to keep us at
Still give us the
9% of the
same.
revenue. You're trying to keep us at a Joe Ingles salary for a team. That's not one player doesn't get to make that money. That's for the whole team.
Mhm.
It just doesn't make sense.
Damn. So like, what do you if you can put your hand in your hand or eyes in the crystal ball, look through it, like what do you see happening in the foreseeable future?
I think there may be a lockout. Um, and to be fair, I think a lockout in the grand scheme of like
Got to hurt the
history.
owner's pockets.
Well, I was going to say, I think that in the grand scheme of history, a lockout is actually a good thing because it shows how the league is growing. Like the NFL has had multiple lockouts, the NBA has had multiple lockouts, and that's because the players are like, hey, we are worth this amount of money. Y'all are making a lot more money, and we deserve to be making a bigger portion of it.
Hmm.
And to be at this point now, like they never had this leverage before. They never had this leverage of like, hey, the league is about to be really profitable, all these other things. So like this is a super pivotal moment for them in their history because now it's like, all right, we've spent all this time building the league up, as any other league takes time to build up, by the way. But we've taken this time to build the league up, and now it's time for us to really enjoy the fruits of our labor. Like
Hmm.
they've done the years of most of these women, I mean, as people probably know, because that's how Brittany Griner got put in jail. Most of these women had to go play overseas in the off season just to be able to
Yeah.
make a real salary because their salaries from the WNBA alone weren't really a lot. So it's like they've been through all of that, and now when the opportunity comes, they deserve to be making this money.
Mm. Damn. Nah, that was a masterclass. Yeah, I think in order for them to get what they deserve, you're gonna have to definitely put some damage into the owners' pockets, like you said, just based off of past history. That seems to be the most logic way to kind of go about it. So, like you said, 11% is fucking ridiculous, bro. So yeah, it's gonna continue to grow, and like you said, it's people like you and among others who makes this more aware, so we can kind of really get the ball rolling as well too. So so much talent in the league, and it's only going to go up from here, from a game standpoint and a financial standpoint. I'm praying about that as well too. So I appreciate that masterclass, though. That shit was phenomenal.